So I don't know if you've been keeping up with webcams during this whole quarantine thing going on, but they've been sold out pretty much across the board. Just all the popular ones are gone, or they're being resold for, this is pretty much like double the price, which you might freak out about, but it's actually fine. Like, in fact, that might be a good thing because you're going to be looking for different options, and I'm happy to show you a different option, showing you how to get a better webcam for cheap. So your footage is going to go from looking like this to this, all with just a cheap cell phone. So there are a plethora of different devices you can use for this. You can use Apple, Android, pretty much any brand, whatever system. If you got an app store, you probably have some sort of way to go through and be able to get something to hook it up to your PC. I'm going to be running with this exact phone. Well, not literally this exact phone, but this model of phone. Run with this phone. This is a phone that I actually owned previously, and it doesn't work anymore, and I've since upgraded. This is a few years old. And I actually went and bought another one of these used from eBay that is actually in better condition than this, and it was $50. So shop around, look at some of your older phones, you know, if they're broken, try to remember if the camera was any good or not on them. If you have any phones just on standby, I would go ahead and try those before you go out and buy a new old phone. Like, just see what you think with your, you know, your iPhone 5 you got in the closet or whatever. But I am going to be running you through Android and how to use this specific phone. So if you do end up wanting to go with this phone, which again, I'm not saying you should, you know, there's nothing particularly special about this. I've had this before and I'm familiar with how to use the camera. The camera on here has a lot of settings that you can mess with. Then I'll show you how to run through this. This is certainly not the only phone that you can use as a webcam, but I just want to go ahead and show you that I've actually owned 3 of these. This is the 3rd one I've bought, you know, because I like to smash things apparently. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, whenever you're going through this, really all you aren't going to need a SIM card or anything. You do need to use the App Store to grab whatever app so you can hook it up to your computer. I am going to be showing off one app. There are tons of them to do it. I'm just going to go over one. This one happens to be wired and wireless. You can use USB if you want to do that. Getting this software and setting it up is incredibly straightforward. All you need to do is pick your platform. I'm on Windows, so I'm going to click to download for Windows. Then you run through the installer. So this is what the webcam software looks like on the desktop. On your phone, it's going to have instructions for how to do it via Wi-Fi or USB. I chose to do it by USB. All it does is it has an in-screen prompt for some settings you need to activate. You literally just click on your screen where it says it and turn on developer mode, I believe is what it is. And then you plug in the USB cable into your phone and into your PC, and this will transform. Now, whenever you actually get this set up and have everything hooked up, this is what it's going to look like. You'll see this tiny box. I just have this pointed at my ceiling. Hello. You'll see this tiny little box, and it's very small, and you can go ahead and choose what video format it'll be at by default. So if you want to go all the way up to 4K and your stuff is supported, you absolutely can go ahead and do that. I'm just going to leave it at 1080 for right now because I don't really have a reason to go to 4K. I'm not going to be recording this in 4K, my desktop anyway. And then, don't worry, it isn't going to be this tiny. Now this is recognized as a webcam. This program, if you want to throw it into Skype or Discord or whatever, you should be good to go ahead and do that. And I'll show you in OBS, which you can see there's like a nice little infinite loop here now. If we go under my camera stuff, you can see there's a device here. I can go through and just pick it, and it will go ahead and it will swap to it like that. Ta-da! And then I'll actually like set it up real quick. So this is the end result. If you go ahead and play around with it, there's a lot of different scenarios that you can have set up for this. I actually have a light going on. I have my background dimmed up a little bit. I have the camera positioned a fair bit above me. There's plenty of different ways you can make this work with different little setups. I mean, you don't have to have any of this equipment. Like, I'll go ahead and swap over to me just having it be just my overhead lights on, no lights or anything. And it's still pretty good. And this is what you can get just right out of the box, just straight up, no special settings or anything like that. The camera has a lot of different features that you can mess around and change the ISO and exposure and everything like that. Really get everything dialed in. If it doesn't look good at first, you have so much flexibility, and that's just something you can't get with a webcam.